Good morning. I see my 444 has arrived, and people have noticed that all of my videos start at that time every day, and that's very much on purpose. It's grounding the energy of truth on the planet. That's what it means to me. It's the masters grounding the energy of the new earth on the old earth, if you will. So that's what 444 means to me. It may mean something else to other people, and that's okay. It doesn't matter if we all have the same definitions. In fact, we won't have the same definitions of the same things. We're individuals, but we're individuals that are waking up. The title today is Important News About Psychopathic World Leaders, and a little blurb that I wrote just a few minutes ago. Two images kept standing out in what seemed like a series in a prolonged period of waking up this morning, a long series of dreams in a prolonged period of waking up this morning. Both images contained the same date, December 7th, 1941. Even as I was fully awake, I kept on pondering these images. Why were they repeated? My meditation did not bring me the clarity I sought, but as I came to the computer, I saw the 2008 article posted on my Facebook page by Mark R. Reynolds, one of my new friends. Beware the Psychopath, My Son, by Clinton Callahan. Obviously, two Pearl Harbor events was important news. The psychopath connection was added. In the images in my dream, one of them was sort of faded, and one of them was brighter and more vibrant. Obviously, the interpretation that I would place on that is one of them was an older event than the newer one. The newer one was brighter. What are two Pearl Harbors? Well, for those who know any history at all, as we've been told it, the first Pearl Harbor was that date, December 7th, 1941, when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. And the second Pearl Harbor was actually September 11th, 2001, which was what George Bush called a new Pearl Harbor, what the writers of the New American Century called a new Pearl Harbor. We need a catalyzing event to enable us to create this new world order of domination from their point of view. And so we have two Pearl Harbors in which, if for those of you that study conspiracies and understand what's going on behind the scenes, you know that both Pearl Harbors were planned in advance by the United States and by people within the United States government. Now, that doesn't mean that the Japanese didn't really bomb Pearl Harbor. They really did. But they were provoked into the attack, and the people in the White House and Pentagon knew ahead of time that the attack was coming. It was not a surprise attack, except for the people that were at Pearl Harbor. And the son of one of the admirals, who was the admiral of the 7th Fleet in Pearl Harbor at the time, has uncovered a tremendous amount of information. I've met him face to face, and he reveals the information that has since come to light about that day of infamy, as Franklin Delano Roosevelt called it. And again, as I said, George W. Bush and others in his administration saw September 11th as the new Pearl Harbor. Many people in the world realize the depth of conspiracy involved in both of those and many other similar events that have been pre-planned by our leaders. I'm going to read actually from what is posted on my Facebook page. I clicked on the link to actually see the article, which is how I know it was written in 2008, and that Clinton Callahan rather, was the author. But what Mark sent to me is this, and he was responding to my note of thanks for him becoming one of my new friends. In the past 2 days, I've probably had somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 new friends / subscribers to my Facebook page or YouTube channel. Some of them may be duplicate, some of them may be subscribers and friends. But in any case, there's been over 300 added, and I do try to send a note of thanks to each person who becomes my friend, who subscribes to my channel. I do that both to acknowledgement, and I believe in saying thank you. I believe it's important to say thank you. Sometimes I try to put a little bit of special something in each one when I have time, and other times I might just do my canned message with the person's name in it. But in any case, here's what Mark sent me. And this is actually from the article. Mark did not write this. This is from Clinton Callahan. I make the effort to share this information because it gives me at last a plausible answer to a long unanswered question. Why, no matter how much intelligent goodwill exists in the world, is there so much war, suffering, and injustice? It doesn't seem to matter what creative plan, ideology, religion, or philosophy great minds come up with. Nothing seems to improve our lot. Since the dawn of civilization, the pattern repeats itself over and over again. The answer is that civilization as we know it is largely the creation of psychopaths. All civilizations, our own included, have been built on slavery and mass murder. Psychopaths have played a disproportionate role in the development of civilization because they are hardwired to lie, kill, cheat, steal, torture, manipulate, and generally inflict great suffering on other humans without feeling any remorse in order to establish their own sense of security through domination. The inventor of civilization, the first tribal chieftain who successfully brainwashed an army of controlled mass murderers, was almost certainly a genetic psychopath. Since that momentous discovery, psychopaths have enjoyed a significant advantage over non-psychopaths in the struggle for power in civilizational hierarchies, especially military hierarchies. Behind the apparent insanity of contemporary history is the actual insanity of psychopaths fighting to preserve their disproportionate power. And as their power grows ever more threatened, the psychopaths grow ever more desperate. We are witnessing the apotheosis of the overworld, the overlapping criminal syndicates that lurk above ordinary society and law, just as the underworld lurks below it. During the past 50 years, psychopaths have gained almost absolute control of all branches of government. You can notice this if you observe carefully that no matter what illegal thing a modern politician does, no one will really take him to task. All of the so-called scandals that could come up, any one of which would have taken down an authentic administration, are just farces played out for the public to distract them, to make them think that the democracy is still working. I see other important news in all of this, and I shared it a couple of days ago, and that video now has over 4,100 views as shown on YouTube from 2 days ago. That is the one that precipitated the onslaught of new friends and new subscribers. And some people think, well, what is the important news? That David Wilcox had a death threat, or that there's a lot of gold, or that Anonymous said that everything is under control? Well, yeah, that latter is really the good news. The other good news was that David Wilcock showed human emotion. That's the important news, that we're able to be authentic, that we're able to express our emotions truthfully and not be afraid of to do so. We've so much hidden beneath this fear produced by the psychopathic regimes and control mechanisms on our planet that we've been unwilling, we've been brainwashed into thinking that it was not appropriate to tell the truth. And many people have been killed for blowing the whistle and telling the truth. We know that. We know that. The world has been run by psychopaths. But the message from Anonymous, the man who called himself Anonymous, who spoke with what may or may not have been an authentic Irish accent, I've heard it both ways, and it doesn't matter. They're points of view, and we all have our points of view. And I want you to know that I don't know all the answers. I said that in that video, and it's true. It's true now. I don't have all the answers, but I'm seeing certain things. And what he said to David, what Anonymous said to David, is tell the truth. You're okay as long as you tell the truth. And that's the important news, the important message humanity needs to hear. It's time for us to tell the truth. Yes, the psychopaths are still playing their games. Yes, they're still struggling to hold on to their power. And I mean struggling, because never before have so many people across so many nations in so many areas of the world been aware of the conspiracies that have been long happening. No, never before have there been so many people awake at one time as there are right now. So the time to tell the truth is now. And that truth is going to liberate us ultimately. Yes, it pisses us off. We first hear of all these things about our leaders being so corrupted. And I don't believe that every leader that goes into the halls of Congress in the United States or the halls of Parliament in other countries or whatever the name is in your particular nation, some people actually do go in, I believe, with good ideals, with good intent, but so many fall prey to the brainwashing and the control mechanisms of the government. Either they're either bribed monetarily to compromise whatever integrity they may have had, whatever ideals they may have held, or their weakness is found out and they're blackmailed through sexual improprieties, oftentimes, unfortunately, pedophilia. But nevertheless, some weakness is found and exploited to the advantage of others in control, and the people that get elected are not the people that are in control. Not even the President of the United States or the Prime Minister, not even the Queen of England or any other country. The real controllers, the real manipulators are the ones that control the money, because money is the master control, which is why our financial system has to come down, which is the other important piece of news from my video from 2 days ago, is the overwhelming supply of gold. Now, a lot of people poo-pooed that idea. No, it's not true. It can't be true because gold would have no value if there was that much of it. Exactly. Exactly. The point is, the important news is, it's being revealed to us that we do not live in an era of limitation as we've been falsely told. There is no lack. That's the message. That's the core important news. There is no lack. Lack exists here in our minds. We've been brainwashed to think in terms of separation, which it means that some of us will have ability to gain this our piece of the pie and the limited resources available on the planet, while others will not. These are all false ideas that have been planted by the psychopathic regimes that have run the world. And it's time for you and me and people like us to awaken And as we do, we produce an environment of loving each other. Now, last night, again, I was at the workshop Christmas party with Margie and many of my friends. And once again, we stood eyeball to eyeball, heart to heart, looking at each other, each with our hand on the other person's heart, their hand over the top of our hand, and looking eyeball to eyeball. I wish I could do that with each one of you. With the songs and the beautiful music playing, reminding us that we are one, reminding us that we are connected, reminding us that at the soul level we are infinite and eternal beings. I wish I could look you in the eye and tell you that you're my sister, you're my brother. I wish I could tell you how much I love you and how much I feel that deep connection, heart to heart, soul to soul. Because this is the power, this is the energy that literally is transforming the world. And as I said 2 days ago, sometimes that love may come forth with angry words, with rage, with grief, with great sadness, because these are the things that we feel deep in our soul, deep in our heart. They have been implanted in our being. This is the important news, that we can look each other eyeball to eyeball, touch each other's heart space, hold each other in that heart space. And this is the energy that transforms the world. It's the energy of truth. It's the energy of realizing how we have contributed individually to the psychopathic's power by remaining in our own ignorance, by being in refusal of embracing our own shadow. Well, we don't have to keep doing that anymore. We have the opportunity now to embrace our shadow, to open up to those dark areas in us, which shines the light into the dark places. Because again, everything that happens on earth is a reflection of what's within. As within, so without. If there's ignorance within, there's darkness without. We are in a period of everything coming to the light. What is light? It is truth. It is love. That's what it is. That's what it is. And we are telling the truth to each other, looking each other eyeball to eyeball, letting the tears flow, letting the outrage be expressed, letting everything come to the surface. This is important news for the psychopathic leaders to get the message that their game is over, that their time is up, that their services on this planet are no longer needed. And that message is being heard at the highest levels of the cosmos. And believe me, or you don't have to believe me, maybe you'll know in your own heart that we are being given help as the ascended masters, as the prophets and seers of all from all the ages are manifesting in and through us right now today, in 2011, in December. We are not going to have another Pearl Harbor. It's not necessary. There's only a need for the 2 that have already happened. For this is enough for the awakening of the people. I leave you with these thoughts this morning, and may God bless you as you ponder what I've shared. Remember, your power is in telling the truth, which was the message of Anonymous to David. Thank you again. Namaste.